guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book review on Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the first book in the Illuminae files, and I believe this is going to be a trilogy. Now, the second book, Gemina, was released last year in 2016, and the third book is set to be released this year in 2017. This is a young adult science fiction series that is set in space. I absolutely loved this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. There are so many good qualities with this book. First, the formatting is so interesting and it's unique and it's just so cool and it adds so much more to the story. And then I also really liked the plot, the characters. All in all, this was such a great book and I highly recommend it. This review will be spoiler free, but if you want me to do a review where I dive into spoilers, just let me know down below and I can definitely do that. So first, let's start with a quick synopsis of this book. We follow our two main protagonists, Ezra and Caddy, and on the day that they break up, their planet is invaded by this warship. Now, they are able to escape their planet because two other ships come to their rescue, so they're able to board those spacecrafts and flee their planet and this warship that is after them. Now, they do end up getting separated, so Caddy is on one spaceship and Ezra is on the other, but both of them are trying to flee the warship that is still in pursuit of them. Now, while all of that is happening, there's also a lot of other internal conflicts that's happening as well on board the spacecrafts that saved Ezra and Caddy. We're having problems with the artificial intelligence that is supposed to be protecting and taking care of the spaceships, and there's also other secrets on board that Caddy and Ezra end up trying to figure out in order to survive. First thing, I really want to discuss this cover because this cover is beautiful and it is so cool and I've never seen anything like it. Like, I love the book itself without a dust jacket is so cool. It's got tons of writing all over it and I love the spine. It's really, really cool. And then you just add this dust jacket on top of it and it just makes the cover even cooler. Now, moving on from the cover to the actual formatting of the book, I was just so impressed with all the details that went into this book. This book is written in email, schematics, classified files, video footage, instant messaging, diary entries. Here's a picture of like the schematics of the spaceships, and like here's some instant messaging, and then diary entries. I felt like the formatting of this book just made the story even better, and I was just so impressed with all the details that went into this book. You can tell that the two authors, they did a lot of research. At first, this book is a little bit overwhelming because there's so many details, and I had to write down a lot to try and kind of like figure out what was going on, just because we're kind of getting a lot of info dump and there's so many different point of views and different formatting. It's a little bit of an adjustment at first, but once you kind of figure out what's going on and you learn more terms and everything kind of starts to fit together, then it becomes a lot easier to read. Now, kind of going on to the plot, I really enjoyed the story. I loved the complexity of the story because not only do we have a large conflict of Caddy and Ezra trying to escape from this warship, there's also internal struggles, and of course there's struggles between Caddy and Ezra. There's so many different little conflicts that also add to the plot, and this book is fairly suspenseful. This is one of those books where I wasn't able to figure out the ending, although I had my theories. How the book ended was not at all what I was thinking. I was really shocked, and it wasn't just the ending, but just as little things became more and more resolved, even those were surprising. And I was also surprised with how violent this book is. A lot of people die, because the planet gets invaded and so many other things happen. So that was one thing that I wasn't expecting. I wasn't expecting to be so many casualties in this book, but there are. So kind of keep that in mind. There's not like any gruesome scenes, but there is a lot of death. This book is also pretty heavy in science. I know this is a science fiction novel, but there's a lot of like anatomy, biology, mechanical engineering, computer engineering. There's so much that went into this book that is very heavy in science, and it's okay if you don't understand it all. You're still able to go through the book and understand the story. And personally for me, instead of it being more annoying with things that I didn't understand, like a lot of the acronyms used in this book, they're not explained what they are. We're kind of just supposed to already know. It's not that big of a deal because you can still read the book without knowing exactly what those acronyms mean. The science part of it just impressed me even more because it's just more details that was put into the book and more research that you know that the authors did, and it's really impressive. Also, because this book is written in such an interesting format, we also have multiple points of views. So if you don't really like that, you may not like this book, but then again, you may. We do see from our two main protagonists, like their point of view, Ezra and Caddy, but we also see from like captains, we see from different crew members, we see from the artificial intelligence, we see from classified files, video footage, diagrams. So there's a lot going on that's telling the story. And usually I'm not a big fan of multiple point of views because I feel like it muddies the story, but the authors executed this so well that it works. So now let's talk about the two main characters. I adored Ezra and Caddy. I didn't think I was going to like Caddy. At first, she was a little bit stubborn and defiant and bad-tempered, but once you got to know her, those are the qualities that just made her such a great character. Her defiance just added so much to her humor. She has pretty dark humor, but it works. Caddy is extremely intelligent and she's really calculating and cunning, and when she wants something, she's gonna go get it and she will end up getting it. So you really don't want to mess with Caddy. Like, she knows she's good at what she does, so she's gonna use that to her advantage to get what she wants. Ezra, on the other hand, is very different from Caddy. Although he is slightly defiant, he is more of a rule follower. He will follow orders. He's really cute and he's really smart and he's so kind and he's sweet, but he still has some of that defiance that Caddy has. Not as much, but enough to add some humor to his personality. And also their relationship together, there's no insta-love in this book, which I really like because when we start the book, the two main characters had already been together, so we're dealing more with them kind of figuring things out. It would have been harder for two people who are separated to, fall in love, but we already have that foundation, so it really, really worked. This book really does have everything you need. There are moments that are really funny, there are moments that are cute, there are moments that are kind of tug at your heart and make you want to cry, and then there's some moments that make you extremely furious where you just want to jump into the story and just strangle people. So this book just evokes a lot of emotions, and also you don't necessarily know who the true enemy is. There's so many different conflicts that are happening that it's hard to know who the main antagonist is. So all in all, this was just a fantastic book. I highly recommend it. I hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you next time in another video. Bye!